Hi everyone, my name is Megan and it's the coronavirus quarantine right now. Um, and I thought that I wanted to give back in a way that I could. We're all, I think, feeling a little bit isolated right now. We're not really allowed to gather. I'm located in Boston and everything is shut down. Like everything is shut down. Can't go out, can't go to bars, can't go to restaurants, can't go to your workout classes. I mean, you can't feel that connection to other people that I think is so important. So I wanted to give back by doing some free yoga and putting it on YouTube. I'm a registered yoga teacher. I got my 200-hour training in Thailand at the Wise Living Yoga Academy, just outside Chiang Mai. And I did that in 2014, so yeah, I love teaching yoga. I obviously can't go out and teach the classes that I teach here in the Boston area right now. So I thought, why not reopen my old yoga YouTube channel that I sort of tried fitfully last year and then didn't really pursue. I'm stuck, I'm home, I have nothing better to do, so yeah, let's make some yoga classes. So today's practice, because I think we all need it a little bit, is going to be focused on calming and centering. In my practice, I usually think that you don't really need any props, but if you want to have some props with you, I do have with me a block. If you don't have a block at your house, because really like most people don't have yoga blocks at their home, you can use a book or even like a box, really anything that makes it work. And then I also have, in replacement of a strap, I use a belt. So this is just a leather belt that I wear to work. Or you could use a scarf or anything like that. So those are the two props that I'm going to have next to me that I might use during practice. But really today we're going to be focusing on calming, centering, and stability, because I think that's something we all need a little bit. And so if you want to join me, I'll meet you on the mat. So if you're ready to practice, you can join me down here on the mat. As you can see, I'm filming in my bedroom. I live in a shared apartment. This is the only space that I have to film these yoga classes, but hopefully you can still see everything that's going on and this can still work. So for today's practice, we're going to begin in child's pose. Or if you have very tight hips and child's pose at the beginning of practice is too much for you, I would encourage you to start in crocodile. With crocodile, you're laying on your belly, your feet are kind of out toward the edges of the mat, hands come together like a pillow, and you can rest either cheek on the mat, whichever feels more comfortable to you. Or the other option is to join me in child's pose. Child's pose, big toes come together, knees go a little bit wide so that your belly can rest down in between. Hands stretch forward on the mat and then sink down to rest your forehead on the mat. As you lay here, start to seal your lips and focus on breathing in and out through your nose. Really rooting down into the floor, allowing your breath to come naturally, allowing yourself to just settle in here. And as you breathe, I want you to feel the space between your eyebrows, that space on your forehead where it's touching the mat. And then I want you to slowly rock your face left and right, massaging out that space in between your eyebrows, the place of your third eye, seat of your intuition. And you may notice as you tip your face back and forth, continuing to breathe in and out through your nose, you may notice that begins to instill a sense of calm and quiet in your mind, just by pressing on that one space. And then allow your head to come to stillness. And staying in this posture, I want you to extend your awareness out to the tips of your fingers and feel where your hands are pressing into the mat. Feel where your arms are pressing into the mat. And just breathe into that sensation. And then send your awareness back to your toes and the tops of your feet, to your shins and your knees. Just paying attention to the simple, tactile sensations of your reality. Starting to take your awareness away from the outside world and really bringing it in to your body, to what your body is feeling right now in this moment. The feeling of your skin and the contact of your mat, the feeling of your forehead pressed against the floor. Take 2 more deep breaths, really focusing in on these sensations. And then when you're ready, I want you to join me on all fours. On all fours, you want your wrists to be stacked just below your shoulders, knees stacked below your hips. But everybody's body is different. So if it feels better to you to have your palms out a little bit or a little bit wider, I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you to listen to your body as much as you listen to what I say. And from all fours, we're going to begin to do a bit of a cat-cow, trying to wake up the muscles in the spine and the abdomen really gently. So inhaling, you're going to drop your belly toward the floor as you look up at the ceiling and tip your tailbone up toward the ceiling as well, really contracting those muscles along your spine. And then exhaling, pulling your belly in toward your spine, sucking your belly in as you curl tailbone under and chin comes to chest. And again, inhaling, belly drops low, looking up toward the ceiling, being really intentional with that movement. Exhaling, vertebra by vertebra, curling that spine up toward the ceiling, pushing down into the floor with your palms to push your back up higher. And then inhaling again, arching your back. Do a couple more rounds of this movement on your own, following the movement of your breath. Really linking the pace of your movement to the pace of your own breathing. It doesn't matter if it's slow, it doesn't matter if it's fast. It just matters that it's you listening to your breath. And then when you're ready, come to stillness with a flat back. And we're going to do one more exercise to really fire up the core. So take your right arm and extend it long beside you. Left hand is rooted down into the earth for stability. Then I want you to kick your left leg back, and then squeezing the muscles in your seat to protect the low spine, lift that left leg up a few inches. Find your balance here. And this may be enough for you. Just holding this posture might be enough of a challenge, enough of a stability challenge, a balance, a core challenge. But if you want a little bit more, inhale, lift leg and arm up an inch. Exhale, curling under, bringing elbow to knee, and sucking that belly into the spine the same way we did in the cat-cow. Inhaling, stretch long. Exhaling, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, elbow to knee. One more time. Inhale, stretch up long. Lift everything up 1 more inch. And exhale, lower. Come back to center. Maybe you need to adjust a little bit. And then root down with that right hand this time as you extend your left arm long beside your ear. Gaze can be forward or down at your mat, whatever's more comfortable for your neck. And then I want you to extend your right leg back behind you. Squeeze that seat to protect the low spine and lift that right leg up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lift up. Lift everything 1 more inch. And exhale, lower it down. Now that we've got our spine a little bit more warmed up, our body's starting to get warm, we're going to do one more exercise here. Bringing the tops of your feet flat on the mat if they're not already. I want you to push down into your palms, push down into the tops of your feet, and then lift your knees ever so slightly off the mat. This should engage your core, but in order to protect your low back, I want you to tuck your tailbone under here as well. And then you can release. And inhaling one more time, pressing up off the mat. Exhale, release. One last time, inhale, press up. And exhale, release. Now we're going to do a big dynamic movement here. So bring your hands forward, maybe like one handprint length. Curl your back toes under. Sit your seat back to your heels. And then I want you to really root down into your palms, push up and back towards downward facing dog. Now wherever you are here, wherever you landed, doesn't have to be where you stay. So you can adjust a little bit to find what feels right for you. And then I want to encourage you to bend both legs really dramatically. Bend one knee, then the other. And allow your hips to rotate here. And even allow your shoulders to rotate. Bring a lot of movement here because your body is not totally ready for such a dramatic pose. I know downward dog is something we use a lot in vinyasa style yoga. But it's actually a really challenging pose and it requires quite a lot of us. It requires palms to be engaged. It requires wrists, shoulders, back. So allowing yourself to warm up here is a really important step for the rest of your practice. And when you feel warm, you can come to stillness. And then I want you to lift up your heels really high and then bend your knees quite generously so that your shins are almost parallel to the mat below you. From here, press your belly in towards your thighs. You'll see how that opens up the spine a ton. And keeping your belly where it is, try to straighten your legs again. It's okay if your legs don't get straight. It's okay if your heels don't touch the ground. What you really want to be focused on is rooting in with your hands and extending that spine. Take a few deep breaths here. In through the nose and out through the nose. On your next inhale, gaze comes forward in between your hands. And slowly walk your feet to meet your wrists. I want you to keep your feet about hips width apart. So you're in kind of a loose hang here. Keep your knees soft. Don't lock your knees. I have a tendency to lock my knees. It's what I default to. So make sure to keep your knees soft and allow yourself to just drape gently. It doesn't matter if you don't touch the floor yet. That's okay. Just allow your lower back to open up a little bit and allow the backs of your hamstrings to open up a little bit. But keep it gentle. If you feel like a really tight pulling, like it's a really intense stretch, back off a little bit. And then toe heel your feet so that you come together. I like to stand with big toes touching, heels apart. Let yourself fold down one more time. Then with a bend in your knees, inhale. Slowly roll yourself all the way up to come to standing. Take one breath. Then bring the palms together at heart center. And allow your eyes to close softly. And just take a second to check in. How are you feeling? This is your first time standing on the mat in this practice. Does it feel, do you feel warm? Can you feel the blood rushing? Do you feel stiff? Did you notice any stiffness during any of those movements? Anywhere you want to stretch? Anything you should back off from today? Just taking a few seconds to check in with yourself before we begin our practice. Then let your hands fall to your sides, eyes flutter open. Exhale all the air out. And then inhale, arms sweep up overhead. They can either come to shoulder width, or if it's comfortable for your shoulders, you can bring hands to touch. Stretch up toward the sky. Exhale, fold down, keeping those knees nice and soft. Bend your knees as much as you need to touch the ground. Inhale comes to a flat back, so hands can come to shins or even thighs, whatever is flexible for you. Roll your shoulders back to get that nice flat spine. Gaze is about a foot in front of your toes. Exhale, fold down again, knees soft. Inhale, sweep it up. This time arms come up overhead as before. Shoulder width or palms. Maybe you tip the head back and look at the thumbs. Exhale, fold down again, knees soft. Inhale comes to flat back. Roll those shoulders back along the spine, gazes down. Exhale, fold. And inhale brings you all the way back up. Arms sweep up overhead once more. Maybe you tip back for the tiniest back bend. Exhale, folding down again to the ground. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. And inhale, sweeping up, really engaging the muscles in the shoulders and the spine, making every inch of this process active. And exhale, fold. And now we add on to our sun salutation. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold down. Fold enough that you can put your hands flat on the mat, or at least tented fingertips. And then I want you to root down into your left foot as you pick up the right leg, extend it far behind you in an L, and then step back into a high lunge. You can adjust here. Maybe your left foot needs to come forward a little bit. And then I want you to lower your right knee down onto the mat, flatten the back of that right foot. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Here we're in a low lunge with a nice hip stretch. If you have tight hips, this stretch can be really good. You don't need to sink all the way down. There's a big temptation to sink down to get that hip stretch. It's not necessary. As long as you stretch up, keep the hip nice and open, and squeeze that seat muscle, you'll get a really nice hip stretch. If this isn't a good hip stretch for you, I'd encourage you to just practice coming forward inch by inch, but you don't need to sink all the way down. Inhale here. Exhale, see if you can link this movement. Straightening that front leg as you bring your arms down, first to hover, and then lower them down to the mat. Again, this is a gentle stretch. We don't want to slam our hamstrings. So if you can't straighten the leg, or if you can't come all the way down, so you need to stay like this, whatever you need to do for your body to feel good. Just a gentle opening of the hamstring, maybe a little bit in the calf or even the bottom of the foot. And then bring the bend back into that front leg. Palms come down to frame the left foot. Curl right toes under. Lift up right knee. You're in that high lunge again. And from here, lift your chest up, pushing down into both palms. Pick your left knee up to hover. And extend back, high plank. Hold here for 5 rounds of breath. And as you're in high plank, I want you to be thinking about squeezing your core, but also squeezing your legs in your seat. Really engaging the full body here. And then you can lower your knees down and bend at the elbows. Come down so you're laying totally flat on the mat. Hands should be right beside your rib cage or under your shoulders. We're going into baby cobra from here, so squeeze your legs together, squeeze your feet together. Inhale, lift up your chest and your head, gazes forward. You should be able to lift up your hands. You don't need to strain the back here. Lower down. Curl toes under. You can push up to your knees, or you can try to push straight up and back into downward facing dog. Again, if you feel stiff here, feel free to wiggle those legs out, or even adjust where you ended up. You can move your feet in or move them out. Take a few breaths here in downward dog. And then on your next inhale, lift left leg up high. Exhale brings it forward into that same, tucked into your chest, and then step your left foot forward in between your hands. Lower your right knee down, right foot is flat, top of the foot flat on the ground. Inhale. Sweep up to that same hip opener stretch. One more inhale reaches you up. Exhale, hands come down. Right foot, toes curl under. Step forward, right foot to meet the left. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, arms sweep all the way up. Palms come to touch. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Again, palms come as close to flat as you can, or even tented. Root down this time into the right foot. Left foot kicks up, straight back in and out, and then you step down into that nice high lunge. Lower left knee down this time. Top of left foot is flat. Inhale, push down into that right foot for balance. Stretch up into that nice hip stretch. And I want you to notice here which side is looser, which side is more flexible. We all tend to have one side that's more flexible than the other. That's perfectly natural. But I think it's good to be aware. Inhale. And on your next exhale, start to straighten that right leg, come up onto that heel. Maybe like me, you want to walk it forward a little bit for a better stretch. And whatever feels like a good hamstring stretch to you is what you should aim for. Allowing it to be gentle and kind. And then bringing that bend back to the right knee. Hands come to frame the right foot. Curl left toes under. High lunge again. Pulling up with your chest. Pick up that right foot and step it back into high plank. One round of breath this time. And then you can lower knees again. Or just bend at the elbows. And lower all the way down to the mat. Again, we'll go for baby cobra. So zip those legs together like a zipper. Pull your heels in. Inhale. Lifts you up only using the strength of your back. Pushing down into the floor helps you lift 1 inch higher. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push up. Exhale, back. Downward facing dog. From here, inhale, right leg up high. Exhale, bring its right knee forward to hover. And then you step your right foot forward in between your hands. Left knee lowers down. Foot is flat. Inhale, sweeps your arms up for that nice hip opener. Exhale, hands come down to frame right foot. Curl left toes under. Step forward. Left toe meets right. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweeps you all the way up. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Eyes closed, nice and soft. Take a few rounds of breath. And then softly allow your eyes to open. This time we'll come down into chair pose. So I want you to squat down and look down as you're squatting to make sure that your toes don't go over, or your knees don't go over your toes. So you want to squat down only as far as you can so that your knees are still hovering behind your toes. Then inhale, sweep your arms up, and then start to try to pull your shins apart, pull your calves apart, and that should force your thighs to press together. Tuck your tailbone so you're getting that bend out of your low back. Take one more deep breath in. And then exhale, hands through heart center. Fold up, down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold down. Hands come to frame the feet as you step your right leg back and step your left leg back to meet the right. Inhale here. Exhale, you can drop your knees again or bend at the elbows to a hover. And then inhaling, flip over to the tops of your feet into upward facing dog. In upward facing dog, we squeeze the thighs so hard that our kneecaps are actually floating. And then exhale, flip your toes over and come up and back, downward facing dog.
On your next inhale, lift your right leg up high behind you. Exhale, bring it to hover. Inhale up high behind you. Exhale, bring right knee to left elbow. Inhale up high behind you. Right knee comes to right elbow. Inhale high behind you. And exhale this time, step your right foot in between your hands. On your next inhale, lift up into crescent lunge. Again, you should feel a pretty intense hip stretch on your left side. Sink down a little bit. Bend into that right knee. Maybe bend into your left knee can help with the stretch. And from here, we're going to come into Warrior Two. In Warrior Two, you want your back foot to be parallel to the back of the mat, or just about. Front toes are pointed totally forward. Bring that bend into the right knee, and then track the right knee out toward the pinky toes. Keep that left leg strong, pushing down equally into both feet. And then bring your arms out wide like a T. I'd encourage you to look back and check the height of your back arm. Gaze is forward over that front middle finger. Again, bend forward into that front knee. Breathe. Then flip that front palm over. Left hand comes down to the outside of the left leg as you stretch up, stretching in the side body. Inhale, and then exhale, windmill your arms to come down to frame that right foot. And then I want you to pick that right foot up. Inhale, stretch it up high behind you. Exhale, lower. One round of deep breath. Then inhale, lift your left leg up high. Exhale, left knee comes to center. Squeeze. Inhale up high. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale high. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale it up high. And exhale, left foot comes in between the palms. Root down into your left foot. Start to lift up your fingertips. And then inhale. Brings you forward and up into a crescent lunge. Again, you may feel a stretch in the hip. You can bend that back knee a little bit. It helps to release it. Bend forward into that front knee. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, open up into Warrior Two. Again, back foot is parallel. Arms come open and long. Bend more into that front knee. Track it out. That should help you open up in the hip. Gaze is strong, like a warrior. Then flip that front palm. Right hand comes down to right leg. Inhale, stretch up, focusing on the side body here. And then exhale. Hands windmill down to frame that foot. Pick it up and inhale. Left leg comes high. Exhale. Comes down to meet in downward facing dog. Then on your next inhale, gaze comes in between your hands. You can hop or jump or just walk until your feet are at the front of the mat. Big toes together, heels apart. Fold down. Inhale comes to flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Hands come to touch if that's available. And exhale, hands through heart center and down. Take one round of breath here. Checking in with yourself. Bringing yourself back to that sense of calm that you felt when your head was pressed into the mat. Next, we're going to do 2 balancing postures. Balancing postures can be pretty intense, and they can make you feel a lot of different emotions. But when you conquer those emotions and you conquer the balancing pose, it can bring a real sense of stability and calm. Because in order to achieve balance in a balancing pose, you need to achieve calm in your mind. I find that when my mind wanders and I think about things, that's when I'm the most likely to fall over. Obviously, it depends how advanced the balancing posture is. So the first balancing posture we're going to do is called figure 4, and it's a really good stretch for the outside of the hips. So if you're a cyclist or really just an active person in general, this is probably going to feel like a pretty nice stretch. So on your mat, feet rooted down into the earth, I want you to root that right leg down really strong, and inhale, sweep your arms up and lift your left leg high into standing tree. One-legged tree. One-legged mountain is what I meant. Inhale, lift that knee up a little bit more, and then exhale, cross your ankle over your knee. You can reach down if you can't just do it. Reach down to help. And then set your drishti, which is a fixed point that you're going to stare at, and do not move your eyes from that drishti. Bring hands to heart center, and start to bend your right knee so that your hips go back and down. Remembering to breathe, sinking down until you feel you're at your limit for the stretch on the outside of your hip. Pull that core in, keep your core nice and tight. Try to lift your chest and your shoulders so you're not hunching over, but you're nice and lifted. And just take a few rounds of breath to clear your mind and to enjoy a nice hip opening stretch. When you're ready, slowly coming up. Lifting arms overhead again as you lift left leg up. And exhale, lower. Hands come through heart center and down. Big toes together. Maybe you shake out your right foot a little bit. And on your next inhale, root down with that left foot. Spread your toes wide. And inhale, sweep your arms up as you lift up. Right leg this time. Then cross right leg over left knee. Hands come to heart center. And again, you start to sink back and down. Really exploring where is the limit of your flexibility. Using that drishti to help you stay balanced. Tightening your core. Lifting your shoulders. Sinking down 1 inch lower if that's available. And remembering, of course, to breathe. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. Right foot comes down to meet the left. Hands come down by your sides. Take a round of breath. Maybe you close your eyes for a moment. Allow yourself to recenter. And now we'll do a slightly more advanced balancing posture. But there are ways to grade this posture and modify it to make it so it's within everybody's reach. So again, we're going to go into standing bow pulling pose. We're rooting down on our left foot. And what I want you to do is bend your right knee and catch your foot so you're holding the inside, the arch of your foot. And where you hold is up to you. Some people like to hold their big toe. I like to hold right in the arch of my foot. And then bring that right knee back so that both knees are touching. You may already feel a quad stretch here. Wherever you are, you're going to lift your left arm up alongside your ear. This may be the full extension of the pose for you. If you feel a stretching here along your shoulder, or here along your chest, or on your shoulder, or on your quad, this may be the full extension of the pose for you, and I would encourage you to stay here and enjoy the stretch. But if you want to continue, set your drishti, the one spot that you're not going to look away from, calm your mind, and start to kick back into that hand so that you're pulling your chest open. Kicking back and then stretching forward with that left arm. Kicking back, stretching forward. You start to open up into a bow. Ooh. And then the teacher loses her balance. So wherever you are, take one more round of breath. And then if you can, gracefully, come down out of it. And then release that right foot down, shake everything out. As you can see, this is a challenging posture. Even I fell out of it. So just allow yourself to play. That's what I think. In those more challenging postures, don't take it too seriously, and allow yourself to play and just practice calming your mind. So we'll try the other side. root down into your right foot this time. Bend left knee, catch your left foot, holding on the arch side, the inside edge of your foot. Bring that knee back to touch your right. Inhale, right arm lifts up by your ear. And again, maybe this is it, and that's absolutely wonderful. But if you want to express it further, kick back into that left hand as you stretch your right hand forward. Kicking back, stretching forward in equal measure. Remembering to breathe. Ooh! Remembering to breathe. And then slowly, ooh, gracefully coming out of it. And release that foot down. It's always fun to remember that even your yoga teachers are still students. From here, bring hands to heart center. We're going to come down onto our mats, but in kind of a fun way. If you want to just join us on the mat, you can come down and sit on your knees. Or if you want to try a little bit of an adventure, from here, inhale, rise up onto your tippy toes. And then bending at the knees, start to lower down toward the mat. Ooh, trying to keep your back straight. Until you're squatting on your heels. And then lean back. And slowly, slowly lower your knees down. So your big toes are curled under your feet here. This can be a very intense stretch. So we'll just spend a couple breaths here. Stretching on our toes and our feet. A body part that is too often neglected, I think. And then you can come forward, release the toes, and sit down on your knees. Bring your hands to rest on your thighs. Roll your shoulders back to help straighten the spine. And close your eyes. And just take a few calming breaths here in a nice moment of stillness. Then gently open your eyes. In whichever way is comfortable for you, bring your feet out in front of you and bring a bend into your knee. We're going to do just a little bit of core. And so we're going to practice a little bit of boat pose. So, knees here, hands come kind of under the thigh, and then keeping your core already engaged, so tucking those hips under so that your core really sucks in. I want you to lean back until you really feel that core engaged. And try to stay away from having your hip flexors engaged too much. So really pulling that core in to support your back. And this may be enough for you. Maybe you want to let go. So you're hovering here. Maybe you want to lift one leg and lift the other leg. But only do this if you can really keep that chest nice and lifted. If you start to wobble all over the place, I'd encourage you to just focus on maybe just having your arms up. Or maybe even just lifting one leg for one breath. Other leg for the other breath. Either way, breathe here. And then I want you to inhale and stretch yourself up. And exhale, extend, long to hover. Inhale brings you up to bow. Exhale, long to hover. Inhale, up to bow. Exhale, long and hover. Inhale, bow. And then release. From here, we'll bring our legs long in front of us. And we'll do a forward fold. So inhale, sweeps arms up overhead. Exhale, reaching for the toes, whatever's accessible to you, maybe thighs, maybe shins, maybe feet. And then wherever you are, keep your hands where they are. Inhale up a little bit so you can straighten your back. Maybe you shift your hips to just open up that low spine a little bit more. And exhale, fold down fully. And I want to encourage you here to notice where you feel this stretch. We think because it's forward fold, we're absolutely meant to feel it in our hamstrings. But for me today, I feel it in my low back and in my neck. And it's important to notice which parts of your body are talking to you and to notice where you feel you need them most. stretch and the most opening. And as you breathe here in this posture, think about the way that your breath can help you get deeper into the posture. As you inhale, picture healing light coming into your tight muscles. And on every exhale, you release 1 millimeter lower. Take one more round of breath here. Inhaling air into your muscles. Exhale, release. And on your next inhale, you slowly walk up. And maybe you roll to one side or keep a bend in your knee. But I encourage you to join me flat on your back. If you have some kind of band with you, maybe a scarf, maybe a belt, I'd have that available. And we'll come down to lay flat on the mat. From here, bringing a bend into your knees, trying to get your heels so close that your fingertips could brush the backs of your heels, but if that's not available, that's okay. Just bring your heels in tight. And we're going to go into a bridge pose here. So root down into those feet and then push up, really engaging your seat to push your hips up toward the ceiling, toward the sky. And notice if you feel an opening in your hips. You can keep your hands nice and flat on the floor, or if you want to go higher, you can interlace your fingers underneath and even come up onto your shoulders to push yourself up a little bit higher. But I want to encourage you to focus the strengthening on your seat. Pushing down into your heels can help you get just a little bit higher. Inhale here, exhale, release down. Take one round of breath. Then pull both knees into your chest for a nice tight hug. And then let your left leg go long on the mat. And this is where you want to grab for that strap or belt. Whatever's accessible to you. Loop that strap or belt around your foot. If you don't have a strap or belt, straighten your right leg straight as close as you can get. And whether you hold on to your thigh or your calf or whatever's available, just hold on to something so you can maintain a nice light stretch on that hamstring. If you have a strap or a band, hold on to it here, and you don't need to really make it a super intense stretch. We just want it to be a nice gentle opening of the hamstring. Something to help you create just a little bit more space in your body. Remembering again to breathe here. And allow yourself to settle down. Allow yourself to be calm. Really rooting down into the mat. And on your next inhale, bring that foot, track it just a little bit over to the left, and see if that opens up a different stretch. Maybe along the side of your thigh or your hip. If you feel like pinching in your hip, I want you to back away. But either way, going from maybe that long side of the leg stretch, getting into the muscles around the IT band, breathing here. And then you can bend that knee again, release the strap, hug that knee into your chest. And then with left hand, drag your right knee across your body. Your right arm can tee out to the side, or even make a little goalpost. And open up for a nice, relaxing twist. Again, you don't have to try to prioritize getting your right knee down to the floor. It doesn't really matter. Try to keep your right shoulder flat on the floor, however. And just breathe into this. Rinsing out those internal organs. Detoxifying, opening up the spine, stretching the back, stretching the neck. Allowing yourself to relax. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then on an inhale, slowly come back to center. Hug right knee in. Left knee comes in to meet it. Give them both a nice big hug. Massage out the lower back. Then extend right leg long on the floor. Again, reaching for that strap if you have one available. Otherwise, just using your hand. Straighten your loop the strap around your foot. Straighten left leg. And again, we're going for a more gentle hamstring stretch. We're trying to create space in the body with a nice gentle stretch. Harsher stretches, more extreme stretches, if you're not ready for them, can actually make you less flexible over time because you are, in a sense, traumatizing the muscle and really overextending and stretching the muscle. So it's actually better to do a nice gentle stretch. So if that means that you look like this, or even lower, that's totally fine. You just want to be kind to yourself and create space. Eventually, you'll reach your goals, but it does take a little bit of time. So breathing here, maybe tracking that foot over to the right side, opening up some of that IT stretch and that hip stretch, just making sure you don't feel a pinch. Breathing into the muscles just like we did before. Inhaling in, healing oxygen. Exhaling out to relax 1 millimeter further. And inhale back to center. Bend that knee again. Release the strap. Hug the left knee into your belly. Then with the right hand, guide left knee across the body. Left arm can come long on the floor. And relax again into that nice twist. Gaze can go straight up to the ceiling or over to the left. As you relax and breathe, allowing your body this one last refreshing movement. Letting go of any remaining tension and any pain. And then inhaling back to center. Hug that knee in. Hug your right knee in with it. Squeeze them. Maybe you curl your chin to chest. Give yourself one really big hug. And then exhale out to Shavasana. Legs go long on the floor. Feet are nice and relaxed. Hands are nice and relaxed. Palms face the ceiling. As you breathe in and out through your nose. Allowing yourself to be totally relaxed. Feeling so thankful that you did this. So calm and ready to just let everything go. And float away in a deep and restful Shavasana. And this is where I'll leave you. I'd encourage you to stay in Shavasana for as long as you need. Give yourself as much space as you need to enjoy and to cultivate the quiet calm in your mind. Thank you for practicing with me. I hope I'll see you again tomorrow. But either way, Namaste.